Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2017. Now, as you guys know, the North American International Championship is going to take place this weekend, starting Friday. There will be videos every day, or at least that's the goal. I am recording this first one. I will try to record a video for every single day of the week with the top 5 decks, like not my top 5 picks, but the top 5 decks overall in terms of results, in terms of performance, so far since Guardians Rising came out. So we're going to review Mega Ray, we are going to review Garbodor Drampa, we are going to review Garbodor Espion, we are going to review Zoroark, and then we are going to review Decidueye Vileplume. Those will be the 5 decks featured in this mini marathon leading up to the North American International. I might make a few changes, but at least that's the plan. Mega Ray I am doing because I haven't updated the deck in a while for the channel. I haven't featured the deck since Guardians Rising came out, and it was requested by a lot of you guys, so here it is. Mega Ray, this is almost Ian Fukuda's list, who he's been using ever since the Latin American International with some really great results. He got top 4 at that international. He also recently won a regional, I believe, in Brazil, and he's been winning league cups here left and right. So yeah, I think he's now pretty safely in the top 8 of Latin America, and he's definitely an opponent to watch out for at the upcoming World Championship. So a 3-3 line of Mega Rayquaza with 220 HP, and Emerald Break dealing 30 damage times the number of benched Pokemon you have in play. Of course, this is aided by Skyfield, where we get to increase our bench from 5 to 8. And then we have a support cast of 4 Shaymin-EX, 2 Hoopa-EX, 2 Tapu Lele, 4 Unown, which is like the newest addition, 1 Oranguru, and 2 Dragonite. Now, why the Unown? Well, they combine really well with Mallow, and they can act as a safety net, if you will, against a late game end. They get you the card immediately you search for Mallow, or they can count for bench Pokemon in order to increase Rayquaza's damage output. So I feel like the deck's maybe main problem is simply it has so many bad starters. You don't want to start with Shaymin, you don't want to start with Oranguru, you don't want to start with Dragonite, you don't want to start with Hoopa, Lele, or Unown. And that's okay. How many basic Pokemon is that? 3, 6, 10. There's 18 basic Pokemon in the deck, so getting a mulligan is pretty rare. But there's only 3 that are that are good starting basic Pokemon in the name of Rayquaza. So it seems fairly unlikely that you'll start Rayquaza any game at all. You do have 2 Float Stone and an Olympia to compensate for this, along with DCEs and the 4 Psychic, Shaymin, Lele, and Unown to retreat for a 1 energy cost, which might actually even help your Mega Turbos. But it feels iffy, you know, it only feels iffy. And yeah, the supporter cast is really interesting with the 2 Mallow. Mallow is, as I mentioned, to combine with Unown in order to you arrange the top 2 cards from your deck, and then you can draw the next card with Shaymin, Oranguru, or Unown. So that's pretty good to make sure that you set up and you get the cards you actually need. It's different than Teammates, requires more resources, but doesn't need the KO. And yeah, the rest is to Sycamore, to Lysander, and to Mallow. Those are the base. Then we have a single N, a single Kukui, a single Skyla, and a single Olympia. Skyla with Ultra Ball is a really strong combination, as you can find Hoopa, and then you can find a ton of basic Pokemon. And now the Skyla you can even search for with Lele. A huge fan of is just the 1 N. He was running 3 Verse Seeker and a Nest Ball, so maybe the one change I would make would be to drop the VS Seeker and add a second N, just so that you can search for it with Lele. It's less likely that it'll be prized, because it seems like you could get a bit behind in the early game, so playing catch-up or trying to make sure that your opponent doesn't get the resources he or she needs could be very important through the use of N. The deck is pretty high on the item count, I would say. Well, not pretty high, decently high. 4 VS Seeker for Ultra Ball, 3 Mega Turbo, 1 Rescue Stretcher, the 3 Spirit Links, and the 2 Float Stones. So maybe it's not that high. Maybe it's actually okay. But yeah, I really like this list, and let's take it for a spin, right? Now, I haven't played Mega Rayquaza in a while. I haven't regarded it as super viable for a while. So we'll see how it goes. I might make a few, well, I'll probably be making a few misplays here and there. I know you guys love to point them out in the comment section down below. I really appreciate it. Like, as long as you're respectful about it, I don't mind like people pointing out, oh, you could have done this, you could have done this other card, because I don't play perfectly. I definitely make misplays, I definitely make mistakes, and there's always room for improvement. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, there's always room for improvement in your play. But the people who start calling you names and things like that, those comments I don't take seriously, because it's very easy to say your opinion. Everyone's opinion is valid, but it's very easy to say it in a respectful manner, and it's also very easy to not say it in a respectful manner. And obviously, if you say it in a respectful manner, I will take you into account more. Okay, so the first Ultra Ball, I feel like definitely should go for perhaps triple Rayquaza with the Hoopa. No, 2 basics, 1 Mega, and then just Sycamore away the Mega Turbo on the DS Seeker. Let's check our prizes. There's still 2 Mega Turbo left. Okay, there's 1 Shaymin prized, there's 1 Unown prized, there's 1 Lele prized, and there's 1 Dragonite prized, because we have 1 in play. So we have 4 basic Pokemon prized. We also have 1 DCE and 1 Psychic. So 4 Pokemon are prized and 1 DCE and 1 Psychic. Interesting. It's an okay combination. We might actually suffer off of the prizes, and now I'm not going to search for Shaymins here because I don't want to draw extra cards off of the Sycamore. If we had gotten a basic energy off of this, to discard off of this Ultra Ball, that would have been incredible, because we could have actually used the Mega Turbo, but we should be fine. As long as we find an energy to attach on turn 1, we actually should be okay. And we do. We actually do. Wow, this is actually a pretty good hand. We get the Float Stone immediately so that we can retreat. If Lele hits us, that's perfectly fine. And I could play down the Stadium. I could also play down the Shaymin. But let's think about this. What other cards do I need to draw at this point in time? I can just Mega Evolve and conserve my hand like this. I also make it less likely that I get Delinquent. I don't know what I'm playing against, so having 4 cards and not playing down the Stadium makes it less likely to get Delinquent. If I do play the Stadium, I should definitely play the Shaymin, but what other card could I possibly want right now? I don't want to attack. I can't attack yet. I have the energy, I have the Stadium, and I have Shaymin for next turn. There's an argument I could have played the Shaymin and held the other 3 cards as a turn 1 Delinquent. It's fairly unlikely, but it's still possible, and I would have made myself super vulnerable to that. So let's just hold on to this, and Shaymin plus the energy plus the Stadium plus whatever supporters we get, possibly Ultra Ball, possibly Hoopa, Unown, should be enough to guarantee the knockout on the active Tapu Lele on turn 2. So I'm pretty confident in our current setup. And there's the victory. So my opponent just not having anything, and we were trying to think so far ahead, and it ended up not mattering at all. But at least we got like to see how the deck will usually try to set up, right? That extra card that off of the list that Ian used, the Nest Ball turned out to be the 4th Seeker, could be the 2nd N, could potentially be a 3rd Float Stone. I wouldn't mind a 3rd Float Stone, definitely. The Olympia could also transform into a 3rd Float Stone. And here, this hand is interesting. We are going first, and we can Skyla with the Tapu. We can Skyla for Ultra Ball with the Lele, so that's pretty good. Question is, who do we start off with? Is it Unown? Is it always Unown, or do we start Shaymin here? I feel like I should start Shaymin, just because, like, worst case scenario, I can just Sky Return it. It also has a 1 Retreat Gust, so it has good synergy with Mega Turbo. Unown does as well, But first, let's see if the Skyla is available, and it is. So let's check our prices, shall we? Let's check our prices. There's one Lysander priced. There's also one Mallow priced, and there's a Portrait missing. I don't think so. So one Lysander, one Mallow. No Shaymin priced. One Lysander, one Mallow, one Hoopa, which I'm fine with. One Ultra Ball. Whoa, two Spirit Links. Wow, those two Spirit Links. I mean, they could hurt. We can search for them with Skyla, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, and we're gonna get the turn 1 Mega Ray here without the need of Spirit Link. But that might end up like finishing our turn super quickly. So the double DCE I'm not a fan of in my hand. So I'm gonna get rid of Unown and Sycamore, which seems strange, and I'm gonna find Hoopa. And off of Hoopa, I'm gonna go for the same double Rayquaza. Yeah, double Rayquaza, not Mega Ray this time around, because I have the Mega Ray already in hand. So I guess triple Rayquaza. Although, yeah, triple Rayquaza, why not? We're just trying to make the deck thinner, so might as well. I'm gonna attach the DC. If we don't get a turn to knockout, we don't get a turn to knockout. It's not that big a deal. And wow, oops, actually, yeah, I forgot the space that Hoopa occupies here. So actually, I'm gonna leave one space open, just so that I can Shaymin next turn instead of Rayquaza. I probably shouldn't have gone for the Rayquaza, so I could have used Shaymin to draw more cards. So that was a mistake. I could have still used the Shaymin. Wow, we actually see a burning energy. So my opponent just trying to be super efficient off of Bright Flame. I like that. I actually like that. I wish there was a way to accelerate special energy somehow onto these basic Pokemon. I mean, maybe that would be way too much. But yeah, I mean, based off of Japanese results, I feel like Turtonator is definitely going to, like Turtonator Volcania is definitely going to be the deck to beat and expanded. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because like your counters in water type Pokemon, like it's a trade of one hit KOs. And you have the Mew supporter that's coming out that searches for fire energy off of your deck and attaches them to Pokemon. And you have Blacksmith that powers up Pokemon from the discard pile. So like both things are actually so good. Okay, so the fire energy was off of the Scorched Earth. We see a discard of a Seeker and another fire energy for a Lele. And the question is here, what does my opponent do? Is this a pure Turtonator deck? I really doubt it. 190 damage off of a Choice Band is obviously really good, but it's certainly not enough. Certainly not enough to get knockouts, I would say, like to consistently get knockouts. So okay, there's an end. So I am perfectly fine with this. I am perfectly fine. My opponent definitely had valuable resources in his hand that he didn't want to discard, and here we go. This combination of Mallow plus N is, Mallow plus Unown is actually so perfect. It is actually so perfect. Off of the Mallow, I'm gonna put a Shaymin and a Psychic Energy, and then I can attach the Psychic Energy to a Shaymin, retreat, and as long as I find two basic Pokemon off of the Shaymin, I can... Wow, it's actually Lurantis Turtonator. Wow, it's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. He gets a turn 1 power up of Turtonator. However, we're aiming for the turn 1 knockout here. So we get a Skyfield. We'll definitely play that. So I'm gonna play Mallow, and with the Mallow, See, the thing is, my Shaymin's actually gonna be really weak. My Shaymin is going to be really weak. So maybe I should have just Sycamore. No, I don't think so. I might just Sky Return here. Everyone doesn't seem to be... Oh, he's playing the promo Lurantis, of course. So he's gonna be base 180. However, he still doesn't get the knockout on Mega Ray. So what's my play here then? Is it... Okay, I'm gonna put the Psychic Energy, and I'm just gonna attack into the... And I'm gonna get the Spirit Link as my top deck for next turn, and then I can Sycamore. So I'm gonna play this guy. So yeah, we're not gonna get a knockout here. If I went for the Shaymin, if this were a Shaymin, I would just draw 2 cards, and I would know one of them is a Psychic Energy, so I would actually know that there was no possible way to get the knockout. So yeah, hitting for 120 here seems pretty good, simply because a Choice Band and a Fomantis or a Lurantis promo doesn't get the knockout. If he finds a Professor Kukui with that, then he does get a knockout, but I really doubt he'll be able to find it this time, like off of this. And then we're gonna top deck, we have the perfect 3 cards. We're gonna top deck the Spirit Link to attach to Ray, we're gonna attach the DC, we're gonna replace the Stadium, and we're gonna Sycamore for a brand new 7 cards. So we set ourselves up very nicely for the 2-hit KO on the Turtonator. Like, you don't have to 1-hit it. You don't have to 1-hit KO every single time. And then we will probably be able to 1-hit KO the follow-up Turtonator. Now, my opponent did play the Stadium first, so we should be able to win that Stadium War. Another card that I was just thinking that might be missing off of Mega Ray, it's so reliant on abilities. So Hex Maniac really hurts it, and then Garbotoxin Garbodor is also really good against it, because you're so reliant on abilities. So a Field Blower would be nice, especially when combined with Mallow. Especially when you can search it out with Mallow, or even Skyla. That's actually another thing. You could even combine it nicely with Skyla. See another Fomantis, we see another Burning Energy. And my opponent's just gonna do Bright Flame for 160. I'm sure he's regretting attaching all of energy to a Turtonator right now. I understand why he did that, but I feel like it was a small mistake, because now his follow-up is actually just Shell Trap. Sure, with enough promo Lurantis, he can actually knock out my Mega Ray, so I might actually be tempted to retreat and attack with a brand new Mega Ray if my follow-up hand allows me to. So definitely don't want to Mallow or Skyla. I just want to find more resources here, make my deck thinner, and okay. So we don't have the follow-up on a Mega Ray, so we're just gonna, I mean, we're just knocking out my opponent's main attacker, which is pretty good. And he only has 1 energy in play, so off of one hand, up to 3 with Oranguru, he will most likely be able to knock me out, but if he doesn't end me, we definitely have the follow-up knockout, right? We should be able to. Out of our next Sycamore, we should be able to find another 7 energy. If I really wanted to, I could Mallow, but I don't think that's the right play. Everyone does use Oranguru for 2 more cards, and we have end protection ourselves with our own Oranguru. So there's the first promo Lurantis, there's the end. Then off of the 6 cards he needs promo Lurantis, a way to retreat, and that's it. So 2 cards. We know he plays Switch, we did see the Switch here. And yeah, we get the Via Seeker, so we can actually Mallow for the Mega Ray and the Psychic Energy to get the knockout, and a Shaymin. That way we guarantee the cards, and we would need, once again, 2 basic Pokemon. Well, just 1, actually, because I have the Unown. So yeah. Yeah, we should be good here. Should be good. Even if my opponent got the way to retreat and the Lances promo, which should be good. Not happening, nothing happening. Okay, so my opponent actually does nothing else. So I can just Lysander now, right? I can Lysander and then Ultra Ball away the 2 VS Seekers, which doesn't seem ideal because that would be my last VS Seeker. My last 2 VS Seekers. But I feel like that is definitely correct. And we can just go for the other Ray. Keep every other resource available in case we need to use them off of an end. We have the 7 basic Pokemon to get a knockout, and we can even draw more cards with Oranguru. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a concession from my opponent right here, because he has nothing else in play. And we know the other Lysander is available, which is obviously pretty good. Yeah, there's a victory. So we could have prepped the next Mega Ray. We were pretty safe right there. We were pretty safe. It's funny that the DC was still moving. So we're at a win streak of 2. Can we finish the video with a perfect reel? Let's try. Definitely try. And yeah, I actually I don't know. I actually don't know which deck to do tomorrow, because I talked about them earlier, but I mean I did do Drampagard, but I did the European version, and I feel like the American version, like the one Daniel Altavilla used, is regarded as the better version of the deck. However, I do feel there's also a lot of resources for that. So, I don't know. I really don't know. We're going first once again, which is pretty awesome. Going first is always great. It's always great. So, here, instead of using Skyla, I can go for Mallow, because I have the Unown, and with Mallow, I can set a Hoopa up. Okay, the Ray top deck is great. I don't really want to split them here. So, because I don't want to discard these resources, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna Lele, and off of the Lele, I'm going to Mallow, and then with Mallow, I'm gonna put a Hoopa up top, and nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what I put up, but let's figure out our price card. So there's one Shaymin priced, there's one Hoopa priced. There's no Rayquaza price, no, or I do Dragonite. There's one Mega Turbo priced. There's one Stadium priced. There's Olympia is priced. There's something I'm missing. Because the DC is in our hand. Mega Ray. Something else I'm missing, but I'm not entirely sure what it is. Okay, so now, if I didn't make a mistake, we use Verbal Letter, get the Hoopa, and yeah, that way, instead of going for maybe Skyla was the other price. Instead of going for Skyla and discarding 2 valuable resources, we can use Mallow. No, Skyla isn't there, so never mind. We can use that in order to keep going. So I'm getting the other Ray just to end my turn with double Mega Ray in play. However, that does mean one less card off of the Shaymin, but we're still gonna draw 3 cards, and our deck is pretty full. Or it's actually 4 cards, or I could just evolve and pass the turn. But I feel like that's a bit weak, so let's just try to keep getting resources for the next turn. Wow, we actually don't get a pretty good hand off of this. So hopefully my Stadium gets countered with a Brooklet Heal so that we can play that. We're gonna rely on our Oranguru actually. I can use the Spirit Link to not finish my turn, but I might as well save it. I could potentially use it next turn. And we still threaten the big Volcanion. So as long as our Oranguru pulls through for us, I might actually just play down the Dragonite as well. Okay, so there's a counter, the Field Blower, which is pretty okay because we have the immediate counter and we can play down the Skyfield, the Spirit Link, and the Dragonite, which is pretty good. So pretty good. And okay, so we see no Brooklet Heal, we see no Hoopa as well, so this is definitely the slower version of Volcanion, which I feel is super weak to this deck. It should be really, really weak to Mega Ray. And we even have Delinquent Protection off of Oranguru, so I'm really not too worried. Mega Ray seems a really strong deck right now. Really, really strong. Just deals so much damage. And for example, if we were up against a Carpenter deck, we've played 0 item cards so far. Literally 0 item cards. You see the first team up. We're gonna see Power Heater being used. To power up, I would recommend Turtonator and Volcanion. I feel like my opponent will have to rely on the GX attack of Turtonator to actually get a flow of attackers going if he doesn't run Max Elixir. And yeah, Mega Ray. Mega Ray seems pretty good. The deck's running pretty well, that's what it is. The deck is running quite well. We see an Oranguru. Interesting inclusion. I don't think the original, like the Azuls list, was definitely not running Oranguru, I don't think. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it was. So yeah. As for plans for this week, well, I leave on Wednesday to Indianapolis. I hope to see a lot of you guys there. And after Indianapolis, I probably won't have videos on Monday. But I will. July will be a live streaming month. So there might be less YouTube videos, but there will be more live streams during July. So yeah, you guys should definitely follow me on Twitch if you don't yet. And we find the energy, which is pretty awesome. We top deck the energy. So I don't even want to play this Spirit Link at this point. I would love to find a Lysander here. That really, well, actually there's merit to carrying the baby Volcanion. Yeah, I'm just gonna, yeah, why not? Let's get back the Unown. It's definitely an extra cool card to have. And we can use it after Oranguru to have access to the next 3 cards in the deck. And we get Shaymin and Mallow. So no Lysander access. But do we really want to Lysander something? I feel like KOing Volcanion here is correct. And whatever we actually do need, for example at DCU or whatever, we can find off of Mallow. And by KOing the very Volcanion, we deny my opponent the chance to power up immediately. So maybe his best bet, maybe I should have put the Lysander up top. Just in case he decides to go, yeah, he decides to go Shell Trap. Like he doubles team ups and Shell Trap. That would be 80 plus my 50. That actually wouldn't be enough. So he needs either another Volcanion or... What do I discard here? Definitely the Dragonite and I guess the Hoopa. No, Hoopa takes more resources to knock out, so definitely the Shaymin. Definitely the Shaymin here. Okay, so does he go for the GX attack to power himself up? Does he even have anything? Because he only has 1 energy in his discard pile actually. So it seems really hard for him to pull off the Shell Trap efficiently, or even the Nitro Tank GX. Like using Nitro Tank GX for a single energy, it's probably the weakest play he has. Like he wouldn't even waste the GX attack here. He does get the Berserker, he does have the energy, so I reckon he's gonna go for Sycamore to go for the Shell Trap play, which makes sense, definitely makes sense. We have the Mallow, so now our goal is to knock out the Turtonator. Off of Mallow, we want to place the Skyfield up top, and once we do that, okay, he does run Elixir. So, oh, but he whiffs, that's really unfortunate. Energy retrieval for a single energy, so you'll only use 1 steam up. That's also really weak. But anyways, I put up Skyfield, then I use the Unown, I get the Skyfield, play it down, play the Shaymin, and then I need 2 basic Pokemon to get a knockout. And if I get a DCE in the process, I can actually retreat and use the Mega Turbo. I could actually... okay, here's the thing. Yeah, actually, probably playing the Mega Turbo seems better. I mean, putting the DCE up top seems better. So I can use the Mega Turbo. But yeah, the Rescue Stretcher just guarantees that we're gonna knock out here. He did go for the Shell Trap, but even if I hit myself for 80 damage, that's still not a KO. So maybe it's better to get a knockout with this Mega Ray. I'm actually a bit confused. I want to guarantee the knockout here. Well, I have the guarantee with the Rescue Stretcher into Dragonite. So what I need is a Stadium. Let's go for the Stadium. It's my last Stadium actually. And let's go for the DCE. So he has played a single Stadium and a Field Blower. And there's already 2 Sky Floats down for us. So that might actually be an issue. I feel, yeah, this should be correct, right? Yeah, the fact that my opponent has no energy in play is definitely really good for us. So I'm gonna Farewell Letter for the Stadium. We play it down. And then I know I'm gonna draw the DCE, so I'm actually going to take the knockout with the other Mega Ray, so that knocking me out with Volcanion, Baby Volcanion is not an option. Because I take 80 damage, I'll be at 140, so he needs triple Steam Up and a Choice Band to get the knockout. So here I'm just trying to draw as many cards as possible. With the Shaymin, I will play the Rescue Stretcher afterwards. And we're gonna get the DCE here, which is great. We actually even find another Shaymin, so we don't even need to use the Rescue Stretcher just yet. No, we do. We actually do need to use the Rescue Stretcher. So I will put Dragonite, and off of the Dragonite I will get Shaymin and the Unown. Yes, thank you. And perfect. So that Rescue Stretcher was actually a really good top deck. Really, really good. If we hadn't gotten that, I probably would have had to just give up on my Mega Ray and let him take a knockout with the Volcanion. And here, the thing is, yeah, I'm gonna overbench here, because if my Stadium gets countered and we don't find the Stadium off of our prize cards, we might actually be in a little bit of trouble. So we get the knockout, we get 80 damage back, but that should prevent the knockout from my opponent, and we find the Skyfield and the Hoopa for our prizes, so we're actually in a pretty amazing position. The only thing that would make this hand better would be a Tapu Lele to search for the Lysander to knock out whatever 2 energy Volcanion gets powered up. That's the only thing that would make this better. We see a VS Seeker for Sycamore, I would imagine. I didn't get to see, actually. No, he goes for the end. Okay, that's pretty good. Does give us a chance. Does give us a chance to find the Lele. Skyla actually finds us. Yeah, this is what I was thinking. Skyla finds us in the last Skyfield. However, I don't need the Skyfield to get a knockout. So I'm gonna discard both Shaymins and the Dragonite. Yeah, the Unowns are really good. The Unowns are honestly really, really good. They're deck thinners, yeah. My opponent has 4 cards. Can he Choice Band and triple Steam Up? Seems very unlikely. So we get a knockout, and then we can just try to make sure that we just have to make sure that with either Mega Ray, we have all the resources available, or as many resources available, to ensure that we can get a knockout on an EX. And that we have access to Lysander. So immediately 50 damage. We'll get back 2 of his raw energy. But yeah, if we could Lysander up this Volcanion this turn, that would be amazing. But we can't. So yeah, we've only played 2 item cards. That's crazy. And just look at our board. I could just take a knockout here. However, knocking out the Volcanion seems a bit hard. Actually, no, because we have Skyla for Skyfield, and we have the Ultra Ball. So what I'm actually going to try to do is make my hand just a little bit bigger, and I just take a knockout here. The Unown is an extra resource in case we do get End. I was really hoping to find an energy, but I did not, but that's perfectly fine. Maybe there's an argument to playing the Ultra Ball, because it would be the first Ultra Ball, and we have Oranguru. So... do I discard the Skyla because I have PS Seeker? Is that what I do? Yeah, I think thinning out the deck as much as possible is correct here. So I'm gonna grab a Unown. Yeah, we're just thinning out our deck. Gonna use Purple Letter. Get an extra card. We actually get another Ultra Ball, which is awesome. And we did use Professor Kukui, so this is actually enough to get the knockout. I'm gonna play the Unown, but I'm not gonna use it. I'm just gonna get the knockout here. Could have been more. Could have used Shaymin, could have used the other Unown, but yeah, we should be good here. We really should be. We just need to find an energy, but we can potentially go through... well, we should be going through a lot of cards this next turn. If we don't get an energy though, which is a possibility, that would be a big problem. We won't get End though, so we have access to Shaymin, we have access to Ultra Ball for more, and we have access to Skyla, we have Hoopa, we can we can use a lot of Shaymins as well. The only thing we're missing is an energy. Or a Mega Turbo, so we know there's one Mega Turbo price, right? So one Mega Turbo and five other energy left. We have 6 outs. We have 6 outs, and we're going to be using a ton of Shaymins. Well, not a ton, but a decent amount. Yep, Volcanic Heat for the knockout. It should still be game. Should still be game. Okay. So we top deck. We top deck the Mega Turbo. So the one card we actually needed to complete the combo. I'm going to be a Seeker for Skyla. Skyla will find me Skyfield. pretty cool, Skyla for Skyfield. And then we just Shaymin for 4 more cards, and then we discard whatever else, or we can just play the... yeah, we got energy, we even got Dragonite, so we're actually gonna deal so much damage here. And it didn't matter which 2 basic Pokemon we got, we just get the knockout here. Sure, I'll draw 1 card. And I will deal 240 damage to that 4 Volcanion. Yep, that's the game. That is the game. So there you have it, guys. A lot of you guys were requesting an updated Mega Ray list. Mega Ray seems pretty powerful. Its draw engine is pretty consistent. Does rely a ton on abilities though. So if, like, with Cardboard Toxin, with Espion Card being one of the best and most popular decks going into the Intercontinentals or the Internationals, seems like a risky play. Definitely seems like a risky play, especially because there's also Pseudo-Wudo. And Ian's list doesn't play Hex-Maniac, you could definitely play Hex-Maniac. Like, there's that one floating spot which could be a lot of different cards. Olympia is also arguably a potential cut, I would say, especially if you go Hex-Maniac, because then if you're up against Tablemon, for example, you could just Hex, attach Float, and then attack. But yeah, that's Mega Ray, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like on the video if you can, and I will see you guys tomorrow for I don't know what deck action, but for more top decks going into the Intercontinental. Thank you guys, and bye.